Life is a dance. And as we dance our way through life, there are some rigid things we must learn, some structure, some discipline. But in that walk, we will find that there are unexpected moments and there are unexpected rhythms. And there is surprisingly lovely music, and we will have to meld our rigidity and structure with flexibility. We will need to move with the changing seasons and the changing rhythms and the changing music of life so that our hearts are caught up in the discipline and they merge together all the skills we have learned and those that only come through joy and suffering so that our movement through life is one that is responsive and full of wonder and joy and art. Some things in this world require rigidity, some things that are alive, and other things that are not alive. People need structure in their lives. We need to think about when we're doing things, how we're doing things, the resources we will need to accomplish our goals. But when that structure becomes overly rigid and we begin to be overcome with stress, then it is time to rethink time and how we manage our time and how we consider time and how we are driven by time because we may need more flexibility in our lives, more agility in our lives, the ability to stretch and to turn and to move and to be responsive to the world and to the music around us. Recently, I was trying to manage my time well, and I got up from my desk and I went to the other room and I found something that needed to be accomplished. And it seemed like a good time to do it. And I worked on it and I moved with the flow, and one thing led to another in the midst of time. And soon I was caught up in the storm of time. And about 30 minutes later, I returned to my desk having accomplished several things. Things that needed to be done. They were on my list, but I had not planned to do them. I had not set out and strategized to do them. And the moment I sat down at my desk and looked at what was on my screen and saw the projects that I was working on, I remembered why I had gotten up in the first place. I wrote this a few years ago, and I said, let me start by saying I only have a few minutes to compose this entry. The fact that I have any time at all and any flexibility at all is that I was rather rigid about planning my day to day. Having said that, I've already made several revisions to the schedule. I lowered my expectations in some areas and increased them in others, moving arbitrary deadlines and getting ahead in a few projects. I had about 5 or 10 minutes to write. The title that I called this, Being Rigidly Flexible About Time, was a bit deceptive because I cannot really tell you how to do this. Having Google Calendar or Outlook fully operational, that's helpful. Making attempts in the direction of realism, that's a plus. A commitment is necessary. Margins are indispensable. Grace makes all the difference in the world. Let that sink in a moment, and I'll be right back. Having things to do during the gaps is one of your best tools, especially small jobs. Otherwise, we slip into a pattern of time-consuming thumb twiddling, which can be both tiring and frustrating. So here's the list that is certainly not exhaustive because remember, I was writing it down in about 5 minutes. Number one, no matter if it does seem to be a waste of time, take time and plenty of it to really think about your week, about your day, about what you really, truly want to accomplish and plan it analytically, realistically, and rigidly, knowing that you'll have to be flexible to cope with the unexpected. Number two, plan margins in your life, gaps between projects. Number three, plan projects that can fit into those margins. Number four, plan breaks and do not negotiate these away. In fact, if you're like me, plan on changes of focus regularly. Number five, raise your expectations of yourself in some areas and lower them in others. Number six, use that infuriating alarm bell on your phone. In fact, as I was writing, mine went off and it was time to pack up and go, even though I wasn't finished. I was not done, but I packed up and I went. And I wrote these words. As I said, this would not be exhaustive or plenary in nature, just some passing observations. And I ended with, gotta go. Learn the structure, my dear friend. Plan ahead. Work on the details. Iron out all of the strategic issues, but be prepared for the dance. Be prepared to walk on thin air. Be prepared to live your life with rhythm and to appreciate the rhythms of the world. Be flexible. Be a dancer. Use all the tools at your disposal for living your best life. But when it comes to actually embarking on the journey, let your steps be light, let your heart be free, and may all the best come to you as you live and work and create.